Hello, welcome. Welcome to the 10th point. Oh my god. To the 10th point, our weekly tournament series where we have people play some powerful magic in Canadian Highlander. This is the red mage. We will have... oh my god, I'm an idiot. Hi, now you can see me. This is the red mage. We will have Loman joining me in the booth in about, I don't know, 5 minutes or something. He ran to get coffee. I have coffee. So, for those that don't know what this is, every week we have people from the Canadian Highlander Discord sign up. Exclamation point Discord gets you there. If you're not signed up, it's an awesome opportunity to learn more about Highlander. Exclamation and we have them battle each other to show some matches in this extremely fun, extremely powerful format. If you don't know what Canadian Highlander is, it is 100 card singleton with a points list. You can find more information on the Discord if you want. There is also a great video that explains it that I had linked in the chat at some point. Let me see if that still works, because we had all the commands reset. It doesn't. Great. Okay. Well, we'll fix it later. Today we have 7 players show up to play some Magic. Hey everybody, just say something, and possibly all at the same time in a chaotic way.
Hello.
What's up?
Okay,
Hello.
close enough. Alright, we're already starting a little bit late, so I see no reason not to get this party on the road. I'm about to post pairings. And I know how to do things. Okay. Alright, pairings are up. Pants, you have the buy, so you're more than welcome to hang out in the commentary booth until Loman shows up, and we can get this party going. We'll have Wyjete. No, Cheetah can't show hands. We'll have Why Not versus Arakasi as our feature match. So if the two of you, everybody else leave the room, the two of you hang out while we set things up, and then leave the room after we have time to set things up. As a reminder, please have Moro set. When you capture the Moro, you need to capture it in a way that is like you need to capture the whole screen and not just the Moro window. And please do not directly challenge each other. I need you to be in the lobby so I can watch the game.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna send out the Discord calls presently. And in the meantime, Pants, say something to our viewers, fill the air. Pants. Pants. Oh my god, Pants is dead.
Oh no. Well, it's nice to have him around while the...
And now you get to hear the lovely Google Hangouts noise while I wait for people to answer to my Google Hangouts call. Now twice as much. This is awful. Guys, please answer. I see one of you. For some, well, I see a computer, but close enough.
Yeah, I just need to figure out how to... What's the screen share thing even?
It's on the top right, there's like a thingy that you can click. And Why Not did very much not be happy, which is unfortunate. Pants,
I don't know how to answer a Google Hangouts call.
So you go to hangouts.google.com. Pants, you're muted. Talking is not gonna work. Oh my god, this is a train wreck.
He's having technical issues.
Pants!
So, we can vet it.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Let's...
Okay, I have one screen.
I'm playing my blue-black tempo-ish deck. Again.
So,
winner of the last one.
Why not? Did you figure it out?
I'm trying to.
So are you on Chrome? Or are you on a different browser?
Oh, I'm on a different browser.
Okay, well then go to like the Gmail account that you gave me, like open it up. I see that Pants Sihon in like Discord is lighting up, but nothing is coming. Like nothing is coming across, which is a whole thing. Poor Pants. And yeah, there should be, if you find the email account that we use for the like on the left you have like a bar with like a chat type thing, and if you find the
I found it. So do I
Alright.
just press like the green camera button?
Yeah. Yeah, I see you in the call now. Awesome. And now you just share your screen.
All right.
Yeah, so when you're in the call, there's a little options thing on the top right.
Yeah.
You click on that, and then you click on share screen or whatever.
Yeah. Please, both of you, mute. Make sure to mute yourselves in the hall, otherwise I will hear you twice, which is not.
I assume I'm muted.
Yeah. I think you are.
Yeah.
I don't know if we both are. Pence. Oh yeah. No. Okay. Yeah. I definitely do not want to use the last mic that Pence used, because that was basically ear pain. But
All right, how do I sound?
No. Oh god. Oh god. What is that?
yeah, exactly. Like that.
It sounds
Like it
you're
feels
in
like
a
you're
electric
dragging your
vehicle.
microphone across like a field of cloth.
God, mute yourself, please.
Oh my god, Pence. Yeah, frowny face is the correct answer.
Yes.
Let me mute Moto. Speaking of muting things, mixer, because we definitely do not need to hear the Magic the Gathering online. Go away forever. There you go. Okay. Why not? So I think you're sharing your screen as just a window. You need to share the whole screen because Moto is a quality program and doesn't get captured otherwise.
Oh, good fun.
Yeah, I don't know why that's the case, but
Yeah, it's the same thing with OBS.
yep.
It's very weird how it works.
It's actually why I can't like do the stream from my home. I need to go to my office because then I had a second screen, right? So I can actually like put more on one screen and have the rest of the stuff that I need to keep going on the other one. All right, I see both of you. I'm waiting for you to be in a lobby, and then we can get, and then you can probably leave this call so that we can actually talk about commentary stuff.
Okay, so do you want to make the game, or should I?
You can.
Okay, in Vintage Open Play, yeah.
Vintage Open Play? Okay. I think the other games are in the tournament practice lobby, but... Oh, no. Do tournament practice, because it's best of 3
okay.
instead of best of 1.
Oh yeah.
Best of 1 in Open Play? What?
I mean, it says best of 1. Maybe you can set it, but whatever. Just do tournament practice.
Alright, I opened it.
Yeah, okay, I see the game. Sweet.
Alright, we'll switch over to the other channel then.
Yeah, please. I'll keep our viewers entertained in the meantime. She doesn't seem to have anyway, so. Nope, the game is gone. Oh god. There's some great video, and there you go. And like that, we're live. I am going to go ahead and start getting, all the intro stuff going on, and so let's talk about this matchup for a little bit. We have why not 31, sure, on his. I have all of the information, and it's in difficult places to access. Okay, there you go.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Oh, hey, hello, man. We are.
Hey, what's up, man? Are we in the middle of something?
We're just getting started now because we had some technical difficulties. So.
Okie doke. All right. Cool. So I didn't miss anything. I was a little bit late.
No,
getting to
the
party, but
game one just got underway.
Okie doke. Well, as soon as we pull it up, yeah, I guess we'll start commenting on it. How many participants do we have today?
7. So
Cool.
I was going to have the seventh person, like help with commentary, but Pence's mic is made of pain, so.
Okie doke. Do you have a link by chance to the Twitch so I can just jump into that to actually watch the games because I'm not in the Google Hangouts?
Yeah,
right
it's
now.
the 10th point, but I can just send you a link.
Yeah, if you could link it in, like the
Yeah.
tournament discussion, that'd be amazing. That'd be easy. Oh. So, how was your week, man? Actually, it's been a couple weeks, I think.
Yeah, no, I have. I've been on this stupid afternoon shift at work, which has been kind of draining. But outside of that, it's been pretty good.
All right, so we have what here? It looks like a Planeswalker base deck with a Vigilance Raptor that proliferates or counters deck. Could be just counters. And,
It's walkers. It's a walkers deck.
Okay. So
And,
walkers versus blue-black
blue-black
tempo or control. Yeah. Pretty strong True Name Nemesis start. It really depends on how fast this Abzan deck can get on the board, though.
Arakasi's least claimed deck was a blue-black Specter tempo deck, which is kind of.
Oh, it's
special.
Arakasi playing. All right, too
Yeah.
easy. Yeah, I know his deck then. Yeah, his deck's just blue-black tempo.
We'll have hands in the next 30 seconds.
We're gonna see a Rankle here. Yeah, I was gonna say I can't see hands yet, but what do we
Yeah.
got? Him.
On.
Yeah, him. Call a shot on the him. So what do we get? Nissa and Swords to Plowshares. Well, Swords to Plowshares is not really great against True Name, but it's probably good against his follow-up threat. And if you're an Arakasi shoots here, I mean, like, this is a weird spot for him. Like, do you attack with the True Name? Or do you just hang back and try to keep this Raptor at big? I mean, he's already at 13 with his opponent at 22.
Yeah, I don't know, but also you kind of need to put pressure on your opponent because,
Yeah, it's just a weird thing with
you
tempo,
are
right?
the
Like,
faster deck, right? You're not going to. No, I agree. It's weird that he's behind on board. But...
I don't think at this point he is the faster deck. I think he gets outraced here, and it really he's gonna need to leave up counter magic if he has.
But does
Now,
he
if had a
win the
follow-on
game
threat-
if he lets himself get an outrace? That's a question.
Yeah, I think honestly, waiting here is actually intelligent depending on what your hand is because it allows you to get a follow-on threat and still leave up counter magic. They're both down to a relatively low hand size, so like I don't think waiting around if you're this far behind is that bad because you're losing the race on board. You need to probably stick that secondary threat, and then start slamming with the True Name. Well, we've got hands.
We got one hand, but we're working on the other one.
So you get a counter squall, the chip down. Why not's life total? Looks like we have a Muyan. And we'll see relatively soon. We'll have a perfect hand cam because we're going to get a Inquisition here. And if it hits, then Why Not's off, living off the top deck. We get a Nissa. So Why Not's off the top deck. I assume a Muyan Ling comes down here, makes the Watley's Raptor a 0-3, and the True Name probably kicks in there. We got a Reanimate in hand. That's interesting. I guess, is there anything to reanimate right now? It appears just a lowly Birds of Paradise.
It's not the reanimate target you want, though sometimes might be the one you deserve, depending on.
Well, I don't know. Right here, he doesn't have to kick it off. I mean, it's not like his opponent's
No,
under
100%.
pressure,
No, I wasn't suggesting he should.
Yeah. I mean, he could. I mean, he definitely could. Just like get that. All right. Well, there's that. I mean, you probably just run it out just to keep the pressure going. This is also going to make it very difficult for the Abzan deck to race.
For whatever reason, the way that Arakasi is capturing his screen, we have like one of the hands is like sort of. So I don't know if there is another. I don't think there is another card on top of the reanimate, but there might be.
There's not, because you can see his hand size.
Oh, his hand size,
In the
okay.
far left, it's 1, so he just has reanimate in hand.
Yeah.
We're gonna see this 3/2 that proliferates whenever a land comes into play. I always forget this card's name, but it's a newer card.
Evolution Sage.
Yeah,
That's the name.
it's a card. It's a magical card. I'm not sure if I'm that impressed with it yet, but it's a lot of mana.
I think it needs, like, the effect is powerful, right? But you definitely need work for it to actually earn its keep.
It's just 3/2. Like 3/2 for 3 is just a lot.
Yeah, it's
in my
not good
opinion.
stats.
Like,
That's the thing. It's you don't get to free roll it, right? Like there are some times like, oh, this card has a powerful effect, and also it's like a 4/4 for 3. So it's like, yeah, whatever. We just get to put it in my deck.
Interestingly enough, we're gonna basically. Arakasi's played this a little less aggressively than I think I would have here. I think I would have just made the Watley's Raptor smaller and then allowed the Evo Sage to attack me. Or attack my Planeswalker, made a 4/4, and attack them for 3 more, putting them down to 7, which is a lethal swing on the following turn. Made a more passive line here, though. I mean, he's got the Remand, which supports it, but I think I like just making the 4/4 here and then having a lethal attack, post-attacking with the True Name on this turn.
Yeah.
I don't think I care if that Muyanling lives or dies. If I have a clock that's going to kill my opponent on the following turn, I'm pretty happy with it.
Remand's a huge rehab for him this turn, actually.
Well, and even Reanimate is pretty big, because one of the ways that the Abzan deck gets out of this is via a Damnation or a Toxic Deluge.
And Reanimate the True Name gets around it.
Correct. So I don't really care for how passively Arakasi's playing this. I mean, he's not going to lose it because he's got enough interaction in hand, but just end the game when you can end the game. Don't give him outs. Like, I mean, there's possibly cards you don't know about. So I kind of like just turning up the aggression there a bit, just closing it out, because I think it would have been closed down on this last turn.
Yeah, and you kind of expect to see from the Planeswalkers deck, you kind of expect seeing some Wrath of Gods. That's something you...
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, I mean,
Muyanling ultimated.
Yeah,
so now Arakasi's Island stop to draw a card.
Yeah, that's a thing that could happen, but the thing is, to me, like, it's you have a remand in hand, so, like, if that does happen, you can remand it, and even if, like, for some reason it's uncounterable, I don't know how they would do that. I mean, I guess they could silence. Then you have Reanimate to bring back your True Name and just finish them off.
Yeah, no, I agree. Why not in such a random position here?
Yeah, are we casting this Reanimate right now? Just for fun? Ooh, okay. So now if it's a Toxic Deluge, he could actually win this game. I guess there's an emblem on the table. I think maybe he just wanted an emblem, so he's styling on his opponent a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, his opponent could probably pack it in now. But yeah, I think 2 turns ago the game probably should have been.
This game is kind of done.
Yeah, it should have been over 2 turns ago.
Yeah.
You know, and even here, I mean, it still is, because, I mean, he can still draw cards. Although, honestly, he's only got Divination each turn, right? Because this Verdant Catacombs is not likely to be able to fetch a land. It can maybe able to fetch the
so he currently has a Water Grave and an Underground Sea and the Sunken Hollow. So he has he gets 1 Ancestral each turn.
Yeah. So
that's
he's got
a lot of cards.
Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, I'm just like, why? I guess his opponent's letting him play it out, so I mean...
Well, I mean, if you get 2 Ancestral each turn...
Well, no, what I mean is why isn't the game already over?
No, I mean, sure, but also...
It's fun, don't get me wrong.
If I get 2 Ancestral each turn, maybe don't end the game immediately.
Maybe not, maybe it just feels good enough that you want to do it. I think this is probably, looking at the cards that Why Not has in their deck and what they're up to, like Garooks and stuff like that, I think this is going to be a better matchup for the blue-black deck. There's not what it appears to be a ton of low-end in the Abzan Walker list. Although we haven't seen the whole of the deck. I didn't see a lot of interaction, like, you know, like Thoughtseizes, Duresses, Inquisitions, Thalias, you know, Voice of
Thalia
Resurgence,
seems a little awkward in your Planeswalkers list, right?
Well, it depends. Are you running a lands package? You know, do you want the disruption for combo-based decks? Because what are Planeswalkers notoriously bad against? Combo decks, like speed combo decks. So I could see, like, on top of a Mana Dork package, like having some Hate Bear package, so that any tutors you have can find them to lock up certain matchups that are generally unwinnable.
We're off. Somehow we got to start the game, and the non-Planeswalker deck has the best Planeswalker in hand. But
Yeah, well, that's almost becoming arguable now, right? Like, there are 3-mana planeswalkers that see more play in larger quantities in Vintage than Jace the Mind Sculptor does now.
Yeah, agreed.
So,
Because
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
four mana is a hurdle, but just the Mind Sculptor has such a pedigree that it's kind of hard to argue. It's not.
Yeah, no, he was banned in
He's not the GOAT.
Standard, so I mean, it's it's hard to say he's not a good card. He's obviously a very powerful card. Just a big hurdle, you know. And I think this game, we're going to see the power of Dark Confidant if it doesn't get dealt with via a top deck here.
Yeah, I mean, Gurk's a ways away from killing this Bob. And I think that's the only way that Why Not has to interact with Arakasi's
The other thing is, I mean, look at Arakasi's hand. He's got the Tombstalker and the Gurmag Angler in hand. There are other Delve cards in his deck. I believe he is on a Delve spell. I think Treasure Cruiser Dig, one of the two. Because I believe he's done a double box spread with, I forget what the rest of it is.
We can check it out. I can just figure it out immediately.
Yeah, I believe it's a Mox Sapphire, Mox Jet deck, but I don't know the remainder of the points in the list. I think it's like Dig and Treasure Cruiser both in there. So, I mean, I'm not saying it's a very likely probability, but there is a chance that this Dark Confidant, you know, eats an 8-drop, you know?
Mox, Drain, Dig, True Name, Cruise. So he's on both Dig and Cruise.
Yeah, as I said, I played against this deck before, and actually I have killed him with his own Bob playing against it. I know it can hit some big cards. Luckily for him, he's got 2 in hand, which makes the Bob even less risky.
Delve spells, a lot of Delve spells.
It is. It is, but I think, honestly, you still play the Dark Confidant in there. Like, Dark Confidant
No, it's not because of the Dark
cards,
Confidant, it's just that I'm worried that I'm overtaxing my graveyard at that point.
Maybe. I honestly don't think so. I mean, I would probably want to play stuff like Careful Study in there because Blue-Black's going to have like cards that are variable value based on where you're at in the game. But I think you're honestly just fine with running that many Delve spells, especially if you're looking at more of an attritional 1-for-1 game like this deck's normally going to have. You're going to be trading resources off aggressively, you know, and I think it's okay.
I guess, but I still come to the front of you that you kind of don't want to draw 2, but...
No, not in your openers, of course not. But, I mean, that's a risk you take. I mean, you don't want to draw Moxes late either, right? So, I mean, like, it's kind of like you take assumed risks on all decks, and I don't think that's per se a bad risk. We may get to see the awkwardness of Dispel here. Dispel, I do not think is going to be great against.
Remand is a great pickup here.
Okay, I'm a little delayed, so I don't see the remand. Is it known information? Well, it's going to be known information.
Yeah, it's in hand. That has to just do it for turn. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. So, you know, the reality of it is too. I mean, I don't. Yeah, the thing is with the Abzan Walkers is they really need to have creatures. Like, they need to have, like, a, you know, excuse the language, a fuck-off thrun. Like, you know, just
they need to have some way to get on the board faster in general. You can get away without having a billion creatures if you have faster interaction.
Yeah.
But, like...
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
His
I mean,
hand was like a 3-drop, a 4-drop, and a 6-drop. And now he has picked up a 7-drop to go with those. And he has an elf.
You know, there's a possibility that they could still... get this game. I don't think it's exceedingly high, but I mean, now if the Delve spells are drawn, like, it's possible this Elspeth can do some work. I mean, yes, dies to 1 attack from a Tombstalker, but that's one Tombstalker attack, not going at face, you know, buying another turn off of the Bob Blink. I don't think it's, like, necessarily over, but it's not looking good. And then you see, like, these 2 cards right here that just... So these cards are rugged because they're not going to... I mean,
Bob's going to die. Why didn't the Bob get blocked?
I think his opponent wants the Bob to kill him.
Okay, well, I mean, that's a ways off.
I honestly I actually agree with that decision. Like, I think that's a smart decision to make. Because you're not winning this game based on cards alone. Like, you know, they have Remand. You know, you probably can guess they have other counter spells.
And now
like, your hope here is
take out probably 6-mana Garruk.
Yeah, and that's one of the 6 or 7 mana one.
I think you take the 6-mana one because he could cast it next turn potentially.
Yeah.
Whereas I guess he could cast the 7-mana one if you take, or he just leaves everything in.
So here's Why Not's path to victory. They attack with both of these things this turn and cast out the Boreal Druid, or they just don't take anything. But I think the Boreal Druid will get played. I think you attack with both things, chip them down to 10, hope they draw their 8-mana Delve spell, going down to 2, and then they could die on the next turn, because he does not have lethal on the crackback here. Am I correct? He has exactly 11 in hand.
Okay, well, goes down
no
to 7.
Yeah.
These Knight's Whisper might put him down to 5, but...
I don't think you cast the Knight's Whisper here. I think.
Yeah, I mean,
think
I agreed, but
yeah.
I don't presume to speak for what a player are doing, but... We'll probably keep that card in hand, but, you know...
Yep. I think we're just going to see some creatures cast post-combat here to block. I think that's kind of where the game's at. I think we'll probably see Terramander. And that may be it. He may just be willing to go down to 5. Like, 5 is kind of an off number. I think 4 is where I don't want to be if I'm in Arakasi's shoes. 5 is probably fine.
Yeah, 5 is probably okay.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of 5 drops in that deck, but there are definitely, like, there's things above 5 and a lot of things below, like 4 and below, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see what ends up happening here. I mean, like, I don't think that you don't fetch here either, because obviously, like I said, 4 I think is a risky number. But we're just rolling the dice here to see what Bob hits.
Yeah, Bob did not.
Okay. Nope. All right, and that's game. So that's game. But
And
honestly, it was
like
tighter
that.
than you may expect. Yeah, it was tighter than you may expect.
I mean,
Actually.
Why not needed Bob to hit like a very high CMC card? And there are some hits, but I think it was definitely not.
I think in the position he was in, I like the way Why Not played that.
Like, I think he played the game correctly, but like sometimes you play correctly and you're still 10% to win.
I think going into this matchup, you're not very high to win.
No, that's
I don't
fair.
think this is a good matchup for Walkers. I like the way they played it, though. I think they played it well.
I think they played it well. Yeah.
It's possible they should have blocked the Bob. There may be an argument for that, but I don't think blocking the Bob there is correct. I think you're so far behind, and knowing the contents of your hand, you're just not going to get there on that stuff, especially knowing at that point they have remand. It's just pretty much game, you know.
Yeah. Jumping in to SpottedCheetah versus Wyjete.
Okie doke. So SpottedCheetah is on Walkers. I'm sorry, blue-white control of some variety. And then we have Abzan on the other side. Looks like just a standard build of Abzan.
Yeah, I'll give you a little bit
Abzan
more
lands
in a second as soon as I have...
It looks like Abzan lands.
Yeah, I mean, Wyjete has played the deck in the past. So...
All right, so we just played Engineered Explosives with a Collector Oof in play. That's got to be an oof. And maybe he just did it for fun. I don't know. It's pretty funny, though. The Collector Oof shuts off everyone's artifacts. I mean, I guess there's a possibility he blocks the Vendilion Clique. I think he will block with it because this Teferi is just going to run away with the game.
As Teferi does.
Yeah. So
that is the Teferi that actually runs away with the game. That is Hero of Dominaria, which is
once that
not a
thing hits the
Teferi
board,
you can leave on the board for extended periods of time.
No, I think 3 Fairy is actually a more oppressive and ubiquitous card because of the CMC alone.
Well, because it's 3, but like in terms of the impact that they have once they are on the board, 5 mana Teferi is just insane.
That's accurate. That's accurate, but you can't really objectively assess a card just for how good it. I mean, like that being the case, I mean, like Emrakul is the best creature to have.
No, of course, but it does mean that but we are looking at the board that has a Teferi resolved on it.
It's over. Like I mean, like it should be over.
The 3 mana Teferi is a good card. I'm not saying it isn't. It obviously is. But
yeah, it's just I think it's more format defining. It's more of an ubiquitous card.
For sure. I'm not debating that.
Yeah.
Once
it's on though.
But,
yeah, I mean,
it's also hard that like if it stays on the board for 3 turns, you can still win the game. And 5 mana Teferi is not
correct, depending on depending on matchup. But I think it's a lot like comparing like Fact or Fiction or Ancestral Recall, right?
I get it. Like they're different cards. They do different things.
Yeah.
But again, looking at the board with a Teferi on it, I'm like, okay, this is the one that is definitely more problematic in terms of if it's been on the turn for 3 turns. My opponent has cast Ancestral Recall and kept counterspell up every turn.
If you don't kill it within the first turn cycle, counter it and or kill it within the first turn cycle of it resolving, you're gonna lose to it more than likely. That's not always the case, but I think it's pretty universally true of that card. And it's certainly one of the more powerful ones you can have at the top of your curve in like a blue-white deck.
Yep.
That is for sure. I think it really depends on how this blue-white deck is.
I will say, like, I think in general I'm a little lower on Little Teferi than most. But That's not to say I don't think it's a good card. It's definitely a good card. Like that's.
I think it really depends on what matchup you're in with it. I think the problem with that card is mostly in those cycles of planeswalkers, or that they're 3 mana. And I put a lot of stock in efficiency of value engines because I mean it is a draw engine, just kind of like Oko is a card engine in its own way, with board manipulation against creature-based decks, etc. 3 is really a tough spot for walkers because like. I think in Eternal formats, it used to be that you get away with a few 4s in like Vintage, or even like in Canlander, you can get away with a wider array of like 4s and 5s, and that bar has kind of shifted down. And I think now like where you have your wiggle room and like what you can and can't play is really in the 3 spot, and having a powerful card engine at a 3 spot where you have flexibility in your deck to actually put like engine cards like walkers. At 3 and below is just very powerful. They're just very push design now.
Yeah.
Like we were saying, like comparing like Jace the Mind Sculptor, like he's the best, and like I still think he's the best too. I think he's the GOAT, but at 4 mana, like in a lot of Eternal formats, he's kind of gotten forced out, or at least forced down, to a smaller quantity.
Well, I mean, yes, but also it's a different type. It's a different type of card. Like Jace the Mind Sculptor is a lot more win conny than it had like the fairies, which can be a development play. Because the effect is so much more dramatic once Jace the Mind Sculptor hits the board. Which means that you don't need as many, because your deck doesn't need to have 78 win cons in it. It needs like 2.
Yeah, but I mean, if you start looking at vintage decks now, I mean, like ones that used to run like, 1 to 3 Jace the Mind Sculptors are now on like 3 fairies, a Dak Faden, and then like maybe a Jace, but sometimes the Jaces even go, or Narsets now. Are really big.
And to be fair, in these Eternal formats, the impact that forcing your opponent to play at sorcery speed has is a lot more dramatic, because because like half of all Legacy or Vintage decks are blue decks, right? Like that is.
Yeah,
that's
and
not true.
Look at like when you look at Canlander, I would say a good proportion of the decks like are blue decks. I think
yes,
general,
but also
like,
there's some blue decks that don't care about counterspells that much. Like if you're against Jeskai midrange, they play like 5 counterspells in their deck.
They play more than that, but I mean you're not wrong. I mean like there are some blue decks that can ignore them more than others, but the Jeskai deck is also a deck that wants to play at instant speed from having jammed that deck a bunch. It may not always be instant speed.
The question is not what it wants to do; is how much it loses when you prevent it from doing that. And the answer is it loses a decent amount, but it's not like if the fairy's on the field, a deck like Blue Moon just does not function.
Okay, so I think what I would say is this: if you resolve a Teferi and bounce their Monastery Mentor, let's say on 3, if they have to tap down 2 of their mana on turn 4 to burn it out on their turn, that's a huge win, in my opinion. That may not seem like a huge win, but that's a very big win.
Sure.
I think it's a game-winning play. Like honestly, they had to spend 2 cards to deal with your 1. They can't recast their spell. Like the tempo of that can represent against a deck that is tempo-oriented is just big. In my mind,
and Teferi does also have this thing where he has more uses than just being a control play. That's the other thing, because 3 mana is a very affordable. So
yeah, it's huge.
It does have this thing where like.
Yep.
He might not be necessarily even like at its best in control decks. It might be at its best in decks that try to leverage the serious solitude or whatever it's called ability.
Sure. I think that card is good in almost every deck that can play it. I think it's
exactly.
Fine.
Whereas
I think any card that can cast those
like
colors,
Jace the Mind Sculptor or Teferi Hero of Dominaria definitely excels in control specifically.
Sure. Yep. It's just a more flexible card.
Yeah.
I mean, looking at this game, it looks like the Abzan
we had like
deck
a long digression in terms of.
In terms of walkers, I mean, like, I still think 3 Fury is one of the more powerful ones printed. But I mean,
3 Fury is amazing. I'm not saying that he isn't.
Okay.
I was trying to quantify my statement of like. The Teferi that was on the board when we logged into a game that had the Teferi on the board was definitely one that has a more immediate and powerful impact once it is on the board. It's harder to get it on the board, which makes it a weird card in that way.
Yeah.
It also just turns off a lot of stuff you don't expect, like Spellquiller.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about in this blue-white deck right here?
Oh yeah, sorry. We
well,
were kind of
not
talking about
necessarily in
complete.
this
We
blue
went on a huge tangent about completely different stuff.
Were you
But-
saying Spell Queller actually is in this build right here of
Oh no. I'm just saying Teferi turns
generally?
off like if you try to kill their spell queller if they have one.
You're not
and you have
recasting the
Teferi on
spell.
board,
Yeah.
you're not getting the spell back. Like,
Yeah,
it
I just
does a lot
yeah.
of stuff.
Yeah, I think the tempo gain it represents in when and where you can cast spells in the game just makes it insidiously powerful. I don't think it's readily apparent, but we digressed on that card a lot, yeah, so Impulse EOT, it's just board development here. We lost a top to do this play, so evidently SpottedCheetah is not happy with their contents of their hand, and they think they need to have an immediate impact, would be my guess. What's their best draw here? My guess would be something like Mystical Tutor into top Terminus into Wrath board,
Yep.
and play an in-hand land to continue developing their mana base. But we'll see. Well, there's no Terminus happening this turn, unless they blind flip it, or blind flip the thing. So another fetch. Assume they probably have a 3-mana counter spell in hand because they have not countered on 1 or 2 at this point. Of note, the Goyf's only going to get bigger the more permanents get in the graveyard, so we have what land instant right now? And a Sensei's Divining Top of their own in Abzan lands. This is a more traditional build of Abzan lands. I think it's probably relatively close to like Robin Sorensen's original builds. Because I think his original builds actually include the Sensei's Divining Top and engineered explosives like Tangle Wire, effects like that. Although I think it's kind of interesting to remain with those cards after putting in Collector Oof. The top is really awkward if you have like an Oof, and explosives in the last game was awkward too. It didn't allow him to board wipe the Vendilion Click, which would have allowed him to attack in to at least damage the Teferi.
Eldritch Evolution has hit the board. What's going on?
Yeah, I think this is going to get countered though. This is actually, if he can counter this spell, he's in really good shape. SpottedCheetah is. This represents a 2-for-1.
Yep.
In his advantage with a 1-for-1 card. Yeah, he's going to counter
and the Goyf being gone.
I think this is a little bit aggressive by Wyjete here. I think I would have liked waiting. I mean, if your opponent doesn't counter on 1 and 2, yeah, Absorb is the card exactly. So the Absorb happens, life goes back up, and he basically has a removal spell and counter spell printed on 1 card there, which is that's pretty good.
I love Absorb so much. It's
yeah, it's a card I think that still sees a lot of play in like any deck that is running counter spells. Well, any deck that's a control, like a slow control.
That's a control deck that can cast it.
That can cast it. Yeah, because I mean the life loss is the life gain is just so relevant.
Yeah,
in the
it's just so good.
Because there's aggro. All right. Well, what do we got now? That Evo I think was aggressive. I really like Evo a ton, but it was just really aggressive.
Yeah, but I think you end up against the 3 untapped mana from the opponent. You end up losing. You end up. Risking your board position too much, which you are ahead. You have a Goyf, which was sizable at this point, right? Like you don't need to.
I think the biggest thing playing against Blue-White Miracles or Blue-White Splash Black Miracles is that you want to force them to make.
Is that a Nether Void?
Yeah, it's in the deck. That's an old Robin Sorensen list. It runs like Nether Void. It runs. Oop, I just lost the game. It runs Nether Void. It runs Tangle Wire.
Impulse in response?
He maybe.
I mean, I'm trying to see what he has in the graveyard. And, yeah, Snapcaster Impulse. Probably,
I mean, if he makes another land drop here off of the Impulse, he can cast all of his 2-mana and down spells, which means that Nether Void essentially becomes Arcane Laboratory, which I don't think is bad for the blue-white deck. Now, if his opponent gets access to life from the loam, then it can get a lot more nasty.
Yeah,
right?
because there is a strip in the graveyard, so it's,
correct. Yeah. No, this old build of Abzan lands is it's very controlling, actually. It's a very controlling deck.
I don't think it's necessarily over Arakasi, because actually Cheetah does have a variety of counterspells still on, right? Like he still can cast a literal actual counterspell. He still can cast
correct,
like
but he would have had to have
miscalculation, that sort of thing.
You're not wrong, brother. But the issue is this: like, so he did not counter a 2-drop. He did not counter the Goyf, which seems like it's something that you would have countered, and or the crop rotation. So he would have had to have drawn it in the last 2 draw steps in order to actually have that, right?
Yeah, no, I know, but like in general, like this game isn't close to being over, right? Like
No, Nether Void's actually pretty good for
no,
for the blue
I'm
white
not
deck.
saying it isn't.
Yeah.
I'm saying, but like in terms of time, the
Mhm.
game is not gonna be over in the next 3 turns. This game is
No,
gonna go on
no,
for a
no.
while.
No,
So like,
this game is not that close to being over. I mean,
so
no,
like,
not at all.
I was talking in terms of like what counterspell could he find at some point in the near future, that what he has necessarily in hand.
Many, like probably like 10 cards in the deck, maybe 15. Depends on how many he's playing. He may be playing Deprive and stuff like that now if he's running Mystic Sanctuary in the
Yeah,
deck.
I mean, if you have Mrs. Sanctuary in the deck, I think Deprive is one that you might be tempted to include.
You
It's
could. I mean,
I've been going back and forth about putting it because having 2-mana interaction is very important for a deck like for control decks, and you're really very limited. But like, if you don't have your Mystic Sanctuary, Deprive is rancid in control.
Well, I wouldn't call it like the worst. It's not great, right? Like you don't want to do it early because you need your mana in order to actually like progress and get to a point where you can win. But I don't think it's like utterly the worst. I don't think it's utterly the worst to have to cast it early. Like I run Days in Blue Moon. I don't like having to run Days in Blue Moon, but the format's fast enough.
I haven't been running Days in a long time.
I feel like depending on the metagame that you're in, you just have to. If there's a lot of fast combo or certain decks in the format, like you just got to because your red spells don't interact with what they're doing, and if they establish positional advantage in certain resources, like certain combo pieces.
I think the presence of Force of Negation, like now that Force of Negation exists, is enough not to have to run these terrible garbage spells that don't do anything on beyond turn 1, but.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is you need to
Mental
actually
Misstep is one that I'm a little higher on. Like I keep going back and forth on that one because like at least like that can still counter a spell on turn like 8.
Yeah, and actually Days can too. I mean, it's just it's about timing it, and or finding utility for it. I think the equity in the card actually does increase a bit when Sanctuary is a card that is available in the format because even if it is not your best counter spell, it can still flip that back to hand and rebuy it Ancestral without exiling it. There's a few things you can do with it still. And I think just having the ability to have that interaction in the early game is not irrelevant. All right, so we're seeing a Kasali Pride Mage here. My guess would be
now Wyjete can kill its own Nether Void.
Yeah, that's true. He could. It resolves.
Cheetah has a Tithe, which is actually really good on this board.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, getting
up on one land, but
I wouldn't be shocked if it actually just finds the cycling land. Depends on what his hand is right now, or his or her
because
hand.
of this Nether Void, Cheetah does need. Yeah, it found the cycling land.
Yeah, if he has a bunch of lands in hand, it makes sense to cycle a land off and find real cards.
That is a Core Haven. Ooh, Core Haven. That's a kind of a spicy one.
Oh, it's a way to stop the Kasali Pride Mage from hitting you for damages, and he has enough mana to cast a 2-mana counter spell, and no, he does not yet. So let's take a hit from it. I wouldn't be shocked if they trade the Kasali Pride Mage here. The threat density in the Abzan deck has to be higher.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see.
But
obviously,
also,
you don't
like, what are you really gonna expect the Snapcaster Mage to go the distance? You're gonna take a couple hits against control.
I think it could in this game because you essentially have Arcane Laboratory in play right now.
Well, okay, it could, but also like, if that's happening, I don't think it's the Snapcaster Mage's merit. It's just that, like, everything else is like, it's
exactly
it's all the other things that are happening.
Yeah.
Fatal Push.
Okay, pay 3. So you can Mental Misstep this, Dispel it, Spell Pierce it. That's about it, I would expect. Does it die? It does die. So, I mean, you can see that he's putting a premium on actually killing it, because it actually is something that, like, is clocking him.
Yeah, I mean, funny. The other thing is that what is this Fatal Push gonna hit, right? Like, you might as well put the Snapcaster Mage.
Angel tokens. Angel tokens are the one that I would think. Yeah. That's the one that would concern me, or Angel tokens, because that's one of the big.
Speaking of Angel tokens.
Yeah, here it is, right? Yep. So pay 3 for this. Hopefully he taps.
3, I think.
Yeah, this is what I would be concerned about with the Fatal Push. Actually, I think I would. Well, I don't know.
Well, I don't know that 3 angels kill you.
They kill you in one hit. Right?
Yeah, I mean he only got to make 2. But
yeah, That's still pretty good though.
Yeah, that still has perfectly respectable number of angels.
Yeah.
It's
Still not a bad number.
like you'll take 2 angels. That's still about 2 more angels than I normally have on most boards.
Yeah, and there's probably only a couple cards in Wyjete's deck that deal with both of them simultaneously. Both of which are actually uncastable right now without a land drop, right?
Yep.
So if we're looking, Toxic Deluge and Maelstrom Pulse are the 2 that come to mind.
Yeah.
With...
Toxic Deluge isn't even that good. It kills your entire board too.
Yeah, but you would do that if it meant not losing.
Yeah. If it means not losing, you do that, but you're not happy about it.
No, no. I mean, you're not winning the game where you have to do that, but you're not losing at least the turn after. So I mean, maybe you can win it. I don't know. I do think casting this Void out was kind of a. I don't like it. I don't like Void against this deck. It's just too much mana in the blue-white deck. I mean, I think it's a gosh darn near a 40 land deck. I mean, it's one of the decks you can get away with running a lot more lands than you would normally need to, because you have like Mazes of Ith, Core Havens,
You have a lot of ways
like,
to have your land. I mean, Maze of Ith doesn't count as a land, but like you have definitely have a lot of.
It does as a land slot, but it's a spell slot, but it is a land too, right? So I mean, like
yeah. But you definitely.
Maybe if they had an Urborg, whatever, it's not unlikely that it could possibly produce mana with Urborg.
But like you definitely get a lot of. Oh, Cheetah got it. You definitely have a lot of utility lands that can do stuff.
You do.
Right? Yeah.
Yep, quite a few. I mean, hell, at one point in time, blue-white base decks, like a long time ago.
In Blue Moon, you don't get to do that as much because you are playing a bunch of Blood Moons. Yeah. So, like, to be fair, I think you still have, like, 1 Spice slot, which I have run, in the years. Riptide Laboratory, which was
you can run Riptide or
Caracas. I've run Mouth of Ronom for a while.
That one's not bad. It's a lot of mana to do. It's just
is a lot of mana, which is why
like recently
I'm trying Frostwalk Bastion in that slot, actually.
Yeah, I've kind of tended to like
Caracas is also like his
Loot House, but
yeah, no, I mean Loot House is not a head I would ever cut, but I consider that a core inclusion in the deck. I don't even consider that like a fun slot. I think you just play Loot House every time. This match is over. Let me put the results in. We have Cheetah 2-0 or
2-1, 2-1.
No, so we missed the entirety of game 1, and then we watched the Why Not versus Arakasi, and we had Arakasi win 2-0, I believe. And then do we have Para and Reiyu?
Yeah, 2-1 for me.
Para 2-1.
I got a Berserked.
It's a good card.
Yeah.
Pump spell into Berserk kills people,
Yeah. Killed him dead.
No, yeah, we can't do that. Okay, yeah, so we'll do. I'm about to post the results. We'll have. Oh my god, again. We'll have Pants versus Arakasi as our feature match.
Hey, how did someone target with Vines?
Vines gives hexproof, not Shroud, and not even hexproof.
It's not exactly hexproof.
It gives canopy cover.
Yeah.
So if you target an opponent's stuff thing, they can't target it, but anyways.
Oh, is it hexproof? I thought it was Shroud.
It's pre-hexproof. It's not technically hexproof.
Yeah, no.
If I give your creature hexproof, you can still target it, but if I Vines your creature, you can't target it anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
It can't be targeted by your opponent's stuff, regardless of who controls the creature.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought it was Shroud for some reason. I was like, oh, how'd you do that?
So we're gonna have Pants versus Arakasi as our feature match. And if Why Not wants to hang out in the booth and do commentary with Lowman, that's gonna give me a little bit more leeway to do coverage stuff. And if that can't happen, that's also fine. But I'm gonna send the calls out momentarily, so you get to.
So what do we have up next for our feature match, man?
Pants versus Arakasi.
Okay.
So Arakasi is still on the same list that we saw in match 1. I kinda wanted to watch Para versus Cheetah, but Cheetah said that he can't show hand cams for this one, so I'm a little loath to
Mute
show.
yourself on the video call.
Fine.
Yeah, I don't want to hear commentary. Thank you.
No problem. Okay. Alright, we have hand cams for the both of them. I'm waiting for the game to pop up. I'll get... why not 3 round? I think that's a no. Oh man, I have to keep doing commentary and then probably spend my time talking about Teferi for like 2 hours.
Teferi. Card's messed up, man. I'm telling you, 3 fairy.
It is very powerful. I'm not...
It's messed up. Like card is messed up.
Like my main quirk with it is that like people assume that because I'm saying it's not the greatest card that was ever printed, but it's just merely extremely good. People assume I'm saying it's bad, and I'm not.
I just think the 3 mana planeswalkers in general like are at a position in the format in most Eternal formats where like if you're playing the colors that they're in, you just jam them because they're just that powerful, and they're kind of almost free at 3 mana. 3 mana is just like you can get away with the bullshit, if you will, like just the powerful bullshit at 3 mana. You can't really get away with that at like 4 and 5. I don't think. Like you can't just play it like. Playing a Thrun in your deck is a much bigger cost than like playing a Kitchen Finks in your deck. I guess is my point, you know.
Yeah.
Like if you want to play a big fuck off Thrun, you have to like really cut something like that's relevant to do it, you know.
Well, we're about to have hands. Working on it.
All right, I got part of one of the Arakasi's hand at the top.
Yeah, because like we have to like capture the people's screen, so like I'm kind of sadly like it depends on how big they have their own hand on their screen, how big it is.
Yeah.
But I'm working on it. We're almost there.
Alrighty, so we have a Mox-laden hand here with no land sources in it. Oh, there was a land played. Never mind. There was a Prismatic Vista played.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got a Delver of Secrets with a Brainstorm to help it flip. What's going to happen here? I mean, the big question is, can you just turbo over him with this Delver? The problem with this hand is, like, it goes to Delver and gets Delver flipped probably really fast, but does it do more after that? A lot of cantrips, so it very well could. If this energy field gets supported by a rip, the game's probably over.
Especially because Arahasi's list has 78 delve spells in it, as we were talking about last game. So.
Well, yeah. Oh, that's a big pickup. The big thing I think is like he can still like bounce it right with like Cryptic Command.
Oh yeah,
like,
I mean he has a bounce. Yeah. This permanents that you can't destroy aren't lights out for a blue deck. You can bounce them.
Yeah, I mean, but the blue-black deck definitely lacks... Oh, that was a good pickup. Definitely lacks the ability to interact with non-creature-based permanents once they resolve. They have to do it in combat, like kill planeswalkers to damage.
I mean, black does have access to a number of ways to kill planeswalkers. It's more like enchantments and artifacts I'm worried about.
Yeah, but they're probably not playing a ton of those, right? I mean, they're playing more tempo-based.
Yeah,
this spell
I don't see Murderous Rider being in that list, right? That's a card that is perfectly acceptable. Ooh, Mana Drain.
Yeah,
but spells there the Mana Drain?
Yeah, it's going to get snared here. So, Arakasi's back to a point where, like, he wants to get into something. I mean, you could have a Daze on top, too. I think he knows that
it's not a bad one to find.
Yeah. I'm not really excited about the rest of those. I mean, like, the Opt is okay. I suppose you can put something underneath the Chromox and get access to Venser, but, like, none of that is, like, exceedingly exciting. Because the Hymn's not castable, right? The Hymn is uncastable right now because he's got 2 blue cards.
No, that's a Sunken Ruins, right? The...
No. I
it's an
believe he
underground
had-
river? Okay, never mind.
Correct, yeah. It's an underground river, so he's looking... Alright, well, finds that. Evidently bottomed the hymn to Turek.
Oh, I need to.
Now, Pant's going to be looking for mana at this point. So I think you sleight of hand looking for a mana source, and then probably... Oh, he's just going to Latinam's Legacy on his main. I'm greedy. I would have sleight of handed there for a mana source. And then try to cast the Latinam's Legacy on my opponent's turn. Just to, like, have bluff equity. Because now you're going to know he's out of mana. Yeah. Now you're going to know he's out of mana. I think I would have gone that way. Plus, Legacy can get stifled. I mean, that's a thing that could happen.
Yeah, I think we saw Stifle Bird in...
I think he has literal Stifle in his deck, too.
I don't think... Oh, yeah. No, I think he might, yeah.
Yeah, it's a tempo deck. It's like a
Yeah,
mid-range
I
deck.
would buy.
Yeah. Alright, so we're going to bounce a land here with Venser. Arakasi not on much backing this up, but I mean, he's got the clock. Venser's not, like, a great clock, but he's a clock. I kind of like sleight of handing here. Try to find the next mana source. Strip Mine's not really an adequate one. Then save Ponder for the longer game. Figure out what you got to deal with. So I like this line of play. Yep, finds the mana source here on blue-white. And if he ever gets to the point where he can cast this Gifts Ungiven and is not being interacted with heavily, you know, he can set up a win that way. The way this build that he's running is set up is it runs a bunch of enchantment-based combos that are kind of like, they're uninteractive enchantment combos that don't per se win the game, but they make it very hard for your opponent to win, so you can just hang out and do nothing. But that's a ways away, right?
Yeah.
All right.
It's gonna be a while.
Yeah, I would probably look for a counter spell at this point in time, or a way to deal with the board, as it were.
Yeah, especially because like this Drana is gonna get out of control pretty fast.
Yeah, I mean, one Caracas away from dealing with basically, well, one of his two threats. I mean, both of them can be dealt with by the Caracas, but you really don't want to give someone Venser a
the
return.
Mystic Confluence can deal with both, but it's gonna be a while. He also
I
like
think
can
it
just.
can be, yeah, I
He
think it
also
can be
can
dealt
just
with
pick up a
before
Reap,
that.
and the moment he picks up a Reap, the whole damage situation is solved.
I do not like blowing this land up, but he pondered, so that means he likely has a...
More lands coming?
No, Terminus on top would be my guess.
Oh.
My guess would be we're going to see a Terminus happen here, because typically you would not just blow up a land there when they're that far ahead on lands. Unless
Agreed.
you can deal with the entire board in one turn. Or he may have the Rip. He may have the Rip
That's a
coming
Terminus.
up. Yeah, is it a Terminus?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yep. Called shot. I mean, that play doesn't make sense if you're not doing that. Although, at this point, you're kind of a little bit upset that you did it so soon with the Strip Mine, because here you would have been able to get a creature land, which would have been a little nicer, but if you're going to strip there, you definitely have a Terminus or something like that on top to just knock the board apart.
Agreed. I mean...
Yeah. Only that can really make sense.
Sorry, I'm just eating. But I think
fine.
it doesn't. I think it needed to be Terminus, right? It doesn't make sense even if the card that is in play is exactly the card that he has is actually less in peace, because if he doesn't strip, he can play both.
Why are we putting this out now? For mana efficiency?
Maybe the Ponder also found the Reap.
You wouldn't play this out this turn though, because it dies to hand attack.
Yeah, but you know
Yeah,
that
this
has
card-
to stop the hint, right?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
Sorry, you know that Arakasi stopped the hint, right? So I would need to top deck the hand attack spell. Like, I don't think this is the worst time to...
But hear me out. If you have Rip on top of your deck, and you know it's on top of your deck because there's one more card we know with Ponder, like, why don't you just leave the energy field in hand so that it can't be destroyed via discard? I mean, it's going to get destroyed by a discard anyways, but you have better bluff equity if you don't play it, and it definitely dies here if your opponent just plays a Strip Mine or just hand attacks you, right? So, like, and you're going to be able to cast both on the following turn anyways. So, to me, it's like, just leave it in hand at that point.
Yeah, I
You're not really...
At this point, like, there wasn't an resting piece, so I don't know why he cast it at all.
Yeah, no, just I mean, I think if you don't,
It's kind of a
Stop.
fog, I guess.
yeah, in a way, I think the thing is, all right, he's just gonna play this Mox out. No, all right,
No,
so
he's
we're
gonna
gonna
play
see
this
a
Gifts Ungiven, and that's gonna break the energy field.
yes, but he's gonna get Savine's Reclamation is one of the cards he'll get. All he's got to do is pile Savine's Reclamation and Rest in Peace right now. The energy field will die. He'll cast Savine's Reclamation on his next turn, getting back both permanents, exiling both graveyards. I'm sorry, getting back the energy field, then exiling both graveyards, and then it's active, right? So it doesn't matter if the
what
energy
is
field dies.
what is the heads he actually get?
Which may have actually been why he cast it, so that it does go away here and goes to his bin, because he didn't
So
have
he
an
picks
effective way of
Frantic Search, Rest in Peace, Savine's Reclamation. Frantic Search. Interesting.
You actually don't need Frantic Search here to do the combo. You just need to get 2 cards. Like, it's kind of actually the same combo as, like...
Oh, okay, so you just 2 hires and something else, and Savine's
Yeah,
Reclamation.
he's doing a stand... Yeah, he's
Because
doing a
you can
standard
flashback
pile.
Savine's Reclamation and then get both back at once.
Correct.
Yeah, the last
yeah,
card
so,
was back to basics, actually.
So you're not wrong. Like, you know, like, this
No.
energy field will die, but it won't matter.
Yeah, no, that's fair. This is just... I am... Okay. Sorry, the last card is Irrigated Farmland.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it's just something you can cycle off.
Sure.
I would honestly just get 2 cards here. I mean, I think the only combo you care about.
Ooh, Arakasi is kind of going with spice. It's a Castle Locktwing. It's,
Yeah. So actually, like, back to basics wouldn't have been the worst here.
Yeah, no, because like this Castle Locktwing is gonna start drawing cards. Arakasi has a lot
Yeah.
of life to play and only 1 card in hand.
Mm-hmm. But we'll probably have Future Sight on the turn after this next one, which I assume is just going to be a Reclamation turn to get back the field and the Rest in Peace. It also limits some of the quality of Arakasi's top decks, because a lot of his cards do depend on the yard as a play zone. Incidentally, so like cards like Terramander, Embodiment of Agonies, the Delve Threats, are all neutralized a bit by just Rip in general. It's kind of funny how much Rip just randomly hates out in the format.
Yeah, no, you definitely want.
So Energy Field goes the way of the bin for now.
I had a thought and then I didn't.
And Frantic Search is the one that he ends up giving him. I think, honestly, yeah, I guess there's really... I would have probably
there's
given
nothing
him...
you can do, right? Like, it's like, whatever.
That was a big pickup. That Wasteland is pretty big.
Yeah,
here.
that can kill the Castle Locktwing, which is actually kind of a threat.
No, hopefully Panth gets back these in the correct order. You can definitely not do rest. Oh, no! No, Panth! Oh, my goodness. This is savage. He just I think, got himself. Oh, no. He did it backwards. He just exiled his own card, so it's not going to work.
Yeah, no, I know.
This is
The
savage.
shame scoop.
This is savage. You should not scoop.
No, I agree. You should not scoop, but...
Oh goodness, because he set the combo up well. He still has the Wasteland in the
Yeah.
future.
I mean,
side.
I don't
like
think he's
him
even
seeing there.
in a bad spot. It's
Yeah,
just like
this is one that you need to do in the right order. Like if you fuck up the order, like you will lose the game. Like it will lose you positions you can't possibly lose from. That's really savage. That's kind of a shitty way to lose a game on Magic Online. But what are you gonna do? Yeah, I hate to see him end that way. I don't like seeing that.
You hate to see it happen.
No, it's miserable, right? Because like,
Yeah, no, it's
I
not
don't know.
great.
I don't know about you, but I mean, like, I'm not gonna, you know, for a fun game of Magic. I mean, like, you know, in Canadian Highlander, like, if you're playing it at an event, like, I'd be like, I'm not gonna be like, what order do you do it in? You know, just to try to goozle someone. You know, like, you know, I wouldn't. I mean, comp rail, sure, but I mean, like, you know, that's just not a thing that should happen typically. Unfortunate one to see happen. But ordering does matter. So, Panth, if you watch these, make sure you flippy-flop the order, because you can definitely fuck up the order on Savine's Reclamation if you're getting back both pieces.
I think it's one of those things that you only get wrong once, and then you learn your lesson, and then...
Well, yeah, and a lot of that comes from, like, fishing your deck. Like, you have to fish it a little bit on Moto. Like, and it's one of those interactions, too, that, like, again, like, I don't think you typically see as often in, like, paper, because, like, unless someone's sitting there, like, hound dogging you, like, hey, which order do you do it in? You know? Like, it's not likely. So turn 1 Delver, pretty strong here. Probably going to see a turn 2 Brazen Borrower bouncing this this search for his Kanta. We could see, like, a Charter Course. Charter Course wouldn't be bad either. All right, so flips. natural flips on Thoughtseize. Oofa. Yeah, this one's gonna kind of go, I think, the way of tempo right now. Plays a tap land. Interesting. I think he may have misplayed that tap land accidentally, thinking it was like an Underground Sea or a Watery Grave. That's actually a pretty big tempo gain for Panth here, that Arakasi played the tap land accidentally on turn 2. Because now he's going to be able to start leaving up counter magic. Entreat the Angels is not one you generally want to see right now. In about 2 turns, it wouldn't be a horrendous one. My question is, do you is he going to absorb this Thoughtseize when it happens? Because I think the right play here is the Thoughtseize and then attempt to chart a course after the attack. So the Thoughtseize happens, and I assume you probably just counter it to keep your secrets.
Fine. Keep your secrets then.
I mean, you could just leave up... I guess, like, the one thing is you do still have Spell Snare post-combat, so that's fine. Arakasi's hand this time does not have the issue of running out of threats, so...
Yeah.
And what do we see? Chart a course is what you'd like to do, but with the information you got, I think you probably just leave up the Brazen Power Ore and try to bounce the Search for Azcanta EOT.
Would not hate it.
Yeah, it's just it's going to get countered is the thing. I mean, I think you just counter it there. That was a pretty big pickup. That Brainstorm is huge, actually. So let's him get rid of this. Yeah,
because Azcanta actually kind of does a pseudo shuffle, right? It gets rid of one card.
Well, you need as a fetch land. So one of the big things, one of the big things that'll happen here. He doesn't want to fetch though. Nimble Obstructionist, I don't know if you're familiar, have seen this interaction before, actually is a stifle, right? So it can stifle Entreat the Angels Miracle Trigger, which is actually kind of a big game.
Yeah. So
be curious to see like where he puts the Entreat. His opponent knows he has Entreat, so now he's kind of obliged to just leave up the Nimble Obstructionist. I actually wouldn't hate using Savine's Reclamation to get back the land here, just to increase the angels, to increase the volume of angels you get.
To get additional angels?
Yeah, to get one more angel. I think it's actually a pretty good game. I think using Savine's here, okay, he's not going to though. Using Savine's just to get the land. You're not going to fetch. It also allows you to leave up the Spell Pierce or Spell Snare.
Wait, what? Oh no, that was last game.
Yeah, Savine's Wreck can get back lands too. So you can just get back the Arabesa.
I forgot that that Savine's Reclamation cast with Flashback was last game.
Correct. It would only be the front side of it this game, but getting back one land means you have 3 angels or 12 power on board as opposed to 8.
In your graveyard anyway, so you can flash it back and.
Yeah, that's why I think getting the land was probably fine there. You go shields down, obviously, but I mean, like, you have the threat now. Like, you have the threat that needs to be answered. So, like, Arakasi is probably not able to play, like, the Drana or the Brazen Borrower here because he has to expect that this is going to be an Entreat. And here we're going to see Stiflebird get stifled, or get shipped. And draw him an additional card and stifle this nonsense.
Stiflebird.
Yep. Which is rough. Which is pretty rough.
Yeah.
But it's a thing that can't happen.
But you still have the Entreat in hand. It's not like the Entreat went away. You just didn't get
but casting Entreat for standard price. I think here
you have other ways of brainstorming the Entreat back on top, right? It's not like you have to have it for
I don't think Panth understands, or maybe he isn't familiar with the interaction with Savine's Reclamation. Savine's Rec does do lands. I'm thinking he doesn't know that. Because getting a land back right now is actually very sensible because it actually puts his graveyard in a place where he can flip the Azcanta next turn. And then hard casting the Entreat the Angels becomes a lot more realistic. Right?
Yeah.
I think that's a huge game. Like, he doesn't know what his opponent's on. If he's just on counter spells, like, he's kind of screwed. But, like, I think that's really big here. So he's going to play this and get it countered for...
Yeah, he knows about this because of what your hand looks like, you kind of need to do that at some point.
Oh, with this hand on blue-white, yeah. You need to, like, your hand is not getting better. Like,
yeah, you kind of need to, like, pressure. But yes, Azcanta does mean that, like, your hand will become better, right?
Yeah, you don't have time though. You're getting beat down by an insectile aberration, man.
I guess
You gotta
you're at
win.
6. I guess he's
You gotta
at
win
6
or you
life.
gotta stop him from winning, right? You either gotta win or stop him from winning.
So he would make 2 angels.
Yeah, and I think you do.
Yeah,
I think
he'd
you
make
do.
2 angels. You're not happy
think-
about having to pay retail for it, but you do.
I'm fine with it. Like,
Yeah,
just play it, man. Play
like
it. Oh, it's
slamming
not getting
down
better for
7
you.
mana is not great. You're kind of. The question is whether your opponent has. No.
This is not getting better for him. He should have. Yeah, I think he should be casting it. He's playing this way too
The
passively.
other question is if you make 1 angel and then have logic knock back up. But
I'd make 2. I'd just go for the gusto on it.
yeah, I mean, I don't think you win the game when you make only 1 angel. But...
No, you definitely don't. I mean, they've got. All right, there's Venser, so I mean now it's not possible to do anymore. Now he does have the counter spell. You're
that's why you
you're
have
giving
to
your
do it
opponent
as
more
well.
time. Yeah,
you
you're
just
giving your
give
opponent more time
and
to get a better hand. I mean, it's just like you gotta go for it here. Like it may get countered, and you probably lose if it gets countered, but you're losing if it doesn't get. You're probably losing if
well, but now
if you don't
he
do
might
anything,
be able
right?
to go something like make 1 angel.
Yeah,
and,
but now he's forced to do it and then leave up logic knot, which to me is
Yeah.
just not great.
No, I mean agreed, but you know,
It's just not
you
great.
still get to make 1 angel and not die next turn.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're gonna do it now. And how many are we making?
Nope, he's making 2 and dying.
Yeah. Ugh. Feels bad. He has to now because the Brazen Borrower is just gonna get cast, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, that's it. Oofa. Yeah, I honestly think he could have won this if he'd done it the
yeah,
turn prior.
like it feels like Pants was like super close to winning both games, and like the first one he conceded prematurely, and the second one.
Yeah, well, he kind of got screwed over though. I mean, I understand tilting up that. That's kind of
Yeah.
irritating, right? Like, and I think that first game, like, frankly, like, that's a.
But I think he was
that was-
still
that
in
was-
a good
that was-
position
that's a
after.
That to me is a shitty way to lose a game. Like, that's just not.
Yeah.
That's not real.
No,
it's,
it's
like,
not
all right,
great,
whatever,
but the
you
thing
know?
is that I think he was still in a good position after the punt.
Yeah, I think he should have kept playing. I mean, it's upsetting, but yeah, he should have kept playing.
Yeah. So I
you know-
I agree that like it feels like you don't feel great after spewing away the combo, but
Yeah, no.
it
no.
did cost him
That's-
essentially 1 card because everything just came off the gifts.
Well, it cost him more than that because I mean, like the 2 of those cards together represent a lot more than just 1 extra card you lost.
Oh yeah, for
And,
sure.
and on their
But
own,
in
they
terms of
represent a
card
lot.
economy of what you actually drew, you traded your
Sure,
gifts. You
but I don't
kind of
think
like.
that's. I
ripped
think
the
that's a
gift
bad
and
way to
given out
assess
of
it,
your
though,
hand.
to be honest. I think that's a bad way to assess it because Rip is far less than a single card on its own, you know? So, like, he lost more than just 1 card off of that interaction. He lost, like, the synergy of 2 cards that actually work together and got 1 card that does not very much at all. Like, you know, it's... So you're not wrong. Like, the card economy is still only 1 card you've lost off of it, but, you know, it's... You have 1 kind of almost irrelevant
but
card.
you
Not
have to- you
totally
have to
irrelevant,
think-
but...
You have to think about it in the way that keeps you playing the game, right? Okay, so
I agree
Reiyu
with you there,
beat
man. I think
Wyjete.
you keep on playing it out. I think you definitely jam it out.
And,
Unfortunate to see though. But I do think the second game was definitely winnable. I think it just required some different lines taken, and in the first game, yeah, it's unfortunate.
Oh,
Cheetah.
Moto Y.
Yeah, well, be
We
fair,
saw it happen, and we're like,
yeah,
"Pants,
it's not happening.
no!"
I was commenting on it, Pant. Like, if you go back and watch it, I was like, I hope he has fished this because there is a wrong way to sequence this. Like, this does require like a proper sequence, but like,
Is
So
Well,
I've
you're
only
paying,
done
like-
it. I've only done it in paper, and it's very easy to say, I'm going to cast this to reanimate these 2 spells, and I've never been called on it before, and I thought it was a cast
Yeah.
trigger, and it's not a
It's
cast trigger.
It's not. It actually resolves after the initial casting. So it's unfortunate, but that is how the card actually technically interacts. Like you can't F it up on that one. It's just
Does
unfortunately
energy,
lose.
does it work if you do energy field first?
Oh yeah, it does.
Energy
The
Field's
combo
first
works. Yeah, it works.
Okay.
The combo I wouldn't have given. I think I gave you that combo. I was like, hey, this combo.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
I wouldn't give you a combo that's
just,
a
you
combo.
just targeted the wrong spell with the wrong Sevin's reclamation. That's
Yeah.
everything. That's the combo did work.
I just
Which
didn't know if you target energy field first, and then it reanimates, and then it makes a copy, and then the card goes to the graveyard, and then energy field gets sacked, and then rest in peace comes into play. That's what I'm concerned with the other side of that interaction.
Yeah, no, it works, man. I promise you.
Okay.
It works.
Yeah, you just have to. So you
I
have
know
to.
for a fact it works.
You have to target rest in peace with the first copy of Sabine's Reclamation, and then it
No,
No.
backwards.
That's what I
Backwards.
did.
No, because
Backwards.
you cast it and it makes a copy, right?
No. Hold
No.
up. Hold up. It's not a cast trigger, guys.
It's not a cast trigger.
Can I
It
read
is
this
an on
Sabine's
resolution. It
Reclamation
makes a
card?
All right,
copy.
you need to read it. Red
Yeah.
Mage. Energy field first, then rip. Promise.
No, I know
That's how it
energy
works.
field needs to enter the battlefield first. I'm trying to
Yep.
figure out how you need to target them to make that happen. Let me read Sabine's Reclamation.
It's energy field first, then rip. How you target.
Loman is correct because I did the reverse and it did not work.
I've also just done the combo.
Oh,
before,
it's
like,
upon resolution you make a copy. Okay, yeah. So you have to target energy field. And that, okay. Yeah, that checks.
Oh,
All right. So the matchup in front of us is Academy versus Blue-White Control. This is actually an interesting matchup. I think honestly it's edge advantage Blue-White Control, but it's a very thin margin. It needs to be played pretty exactingly. But I do think the Blue-White deck, if it has the right parts of its deck, will in general be victorious in it. We got Vendilion Click and Caracas, which is kind of a beating. Let's see if he does it here, and how much of a Paris hand he actually already knows, or Cheetah already knows. So Vendilion Click comes down. Gonna get a look here at the 4 cards. Is there like a memory jar or something like that? It's kind of the question, or a Paradox Engine, or it's just all signets. What entered the exile or the revealed zone? Red Mage.
Oh, what? Excuse me.
What entered the revealed zone? What did he put on bottom? All right, so
I did not. I missed it. I'm
you didn't
sorry.
see. Okay. So Future Sight is what resolved. I couldn't see what it was. Future Sight's a good one. I mean,
it was Mindslaver that was revealed and put on bottom.
huh.
Yeah. Why doesn't somebody else that is in this room take care of commentary? And I'm going to like do tech stuff.
Okie doke.
Alright. I'll jump in.
Alright, thanks.
Let's see. So we got an interesting interaction with the Caracas and Dillian Click here, if that comes to that, but it doesn't look like it's going to.
Well, actually, he did last turn. He put a Slaver on bottom, right? So he's been bouncing it back and forth. Put a Slaver on bottom, but it looks like his opponent Para drew into a Future Sight, which honestly may be spookier than Mindslaver.
Yeah, for the artifact deck for sure. Sometimes they just get to that just starts the engine, right?
Yeah, and I actually don't like bouncing the Vendilion Click here.
Yeah, I think you want to.
I want my opponent to brick on lands. Like, he's got to play that land off the top, which means any second land he finds is going to keep him bricked on the Future Sight. We know he drew a Signet, and if the rest of his hand is just like junk, all right, gives them the artifact land, additional land on top, which I assume gets played. Cast Out can be recast. No, it cannot. It's actually not an instant. It's just a flash card. All right, so Basalt Monolith untap. That's spooky.
What is that card?
That is Diminishing Returns. It's a Time Twister. It's a draw 7. The way Diminishing Returns works, and it sees some play in like Vintage Charbelcher, is you draw. Both players basically have to choose how many cards they draw of 7. And I believe you exile the top 6 or 10 cards of your deck.
It said 10, yeah.
Yeah, it's 6 or 10. I always forget. But you exile some number of cards with it, and you draw 7. You can draw up to 7. You can actually technically choose to draw 0.
Does Paradox ever accidentally exile their win cons off that?
Paradox got enough win cons that, like, if you exiled all of your win cons, like, I'd be shocked.
Yeah.
Just kind of a deck that like makes ridiculous mana and then like incidentally wins through some random BS, you know?
Yeah. Their primary win cons are like Walking Ballista and Aetherflux Reservoir. But I assume
Yeah.
they can make you draw infinite cards, or...
I got
Yeah.
Mindslaver locked.
Yeah, you can get Slaver
I got
locked, you get
Mindslaver,
stroked out, you know. Stroke's not
Yeah.
an uncommon one to see them kill you with.
And we know Mindslaver's on the bottom as well, so that definitely didn't get exiled.
I mean, some of these decks, I think Paris included, like play like stuff like Ugin, you know, which is a way to win a game of Magic.
Oh, yes.
Hell, you could play Rocket Launcher in this deck. It'd be fine.
Well, Arakasi.
Mindslaver could have been exiled because it's after the shuffle.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
So we see a Will Kenrith on top. I mean, this has not been like an exceedingly powerful draw 7. Like we haven't seen like a ton of really great stuff come out of Paris hand. Just a bunch of kind of just random stuff like artifacts. Sensei's Dividing Top's probably the most powerful with the Future Sight. It's going to allow him to draw into some stuff, and right now he's only at 2. We have a flip Jace the Mind or JVP without knowing what's in the bin. I haven't been able to see the bin from where I'm sitting right now. I don't know how powerful that is. I think one counter spell should allow Cheetah to stall the game. And I think honestly here I would counter the Sensei's Dividing Top when it gets recast because it's just going to draw like however many cards he has access to mana right now, which is a lot.
Counter, yeah, if it's something like a mana leak, I'm not so sure.
No, you probably wait on that, but
yeah,
that's just a lot of cards to see. Especially if he gets access to the Academy on the following turn. But Blue-White's definitely not a deck that kills quickly, so I mean it's entirely possible that like I don't know, they could shock us all. I mean they could just have like a Sword of Feast and Famine in their deck, be like die, but I suppose we'll see. I guess it'd be not, but okay, Fracture Identity taking the Future Sight, I assume. That would be the card I would want to get rid of right away.
Yeah, and getting a copy of it's not too bad. Probably not relevant at this point, but
it's very relevant. That's an Absorb on top of this deck.
Okay, well, yeah. take the words right out of my mouth.
That's a good one.
Yep.
That's a hard counter. So down to 2.
Exactly what he wanted.
Yeah, I mean, unless he has pitch counter Magic in handle, that's the only spell he can counter. And I think it's probably going to be good enough because we have a Will Kenrith, which is a 6-mana play, which is a ton. Could draw 2 cards off of the Sensei's Dividing Top with the Voltaic Key. I don't think you want to be. You're not in a spot where you want to be casting 6 and 8 drops right now, or however much that Will Kenrith costs. I think it's 6. Because Absorb is pretty good as a mana efficient play against a 6 drop. But if you're playing a bunch of little stuff and like an expedition map to find Academy, and then you can dump 2 to 3 threats, and your blue-white opponent doesn't have a pitch counter spell, like you're still definitely in the game. But my guess would be they don't have like a ton of payoffs in their hand because they didn't really do anything on the Twister turn last turn. So
what 2 are they getting here?
Well,
I guess it'd be Thopter to block the Vendilion Click to not die.
We know what's in their hand because Future Sight would have revealed as they drew.
Well, they get the Absorb.
I'm not looking at the actual game. I'm actually looking at the video, so I don't know what's in their hand right now.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a forced play regardless on the defense grid. So, I mean, it's very possible to have the win still.
Yeah.
All right, we draw that, discard that, I assume, and then if we don't have Force of Will in hand, I mean, Mental Misstep could be
looking for the Force of Will off the loop by the looks of it.
Yeah. I would still loot there even if I planned on countering this with something in my hand. Because you're not really hiding information from your opponent with Future Sight in play.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So this is a lot of mana for something massive, I assume. Could just be a ballista killing everything. An upheaval. Alright.
Oh. Okay.
Well, that's
no?
that's not good for the blue-white player. That's game over, actually.
Yeah.
You could probably concede here and be just fine. I think I'd probably be like, all right, you got me.
What round are we on?
I do not know. I assume this is probably the second or third game.
Yeah, they're on 10 block each.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with 40-minute timers for both players.
At the top, never mind.
I think it's 25-minute timers, isn't it?
Oh, that's true. Fair enough. Fair enough. We're in the tournament practice room, so we can watch the games now. Because for some reason you cannot watch vintage games on Moto that are casual. For whatever reason, I don't know. All right.
Yeah, so it's pretty much
Yeah, I mean, I can respect the competitor in Spotted Cheetah here, but I think I would just be like, "Yep, good to go. He got me." Like, you're not coming back from that. Like, it's just too much. Especially because you're drawing a fetch land next turn. At a minimum, his opponent doesn't get back the future sight because the way Fractured Identity works is actually exiles and then makes a copy of it. And puts a copy of it into play. So like that's a pretty cool card with like ETB cards. I've definitely killed or exiled some Primeval Titans and gotten their cast trigger or their enters the battlefield trigger off of the token that it makes. So the minimum he does not have the future sight, which would be even more of a beating than this is, but
that is true. What they lack at the moment is the card draw to really actually kill their opponent.
Yeah, but I just think they have enough draw steps at this point that like it's good. It's
there
good
it is. There it is.
Yeah. Well, this isn't a draw. I may be delayed if you're watching on. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Echo of Eon.
That's
pretty
draw.
Good. You get to recast that from the graveyard if you don't get anything good.
So, blue-white. What do you kill him with here? Can't think of anything. Can't think of anything. Sunlance doesn't go to face, so you're not doing that. You could possibly stay in this game if you have like a Force of Negation or Force of Will right now, but.
I mean, what about Psionic Blast?
Yeah, blue-white doesn't tend to play that. You could, but you could play it. It's a way. You need to be able to cast it. I'm honestly shocked. Spotted Cheetah is a fucking champ. Like,
yeah, this is a man that does not.
I respect what you're doing here. You're just letting this happen. You're just like,
oh god, 49.
He may also just be letting him have his fun too. I mean, because it is kind of fun to play Academy once it starts going off. It's a pretty cool deck once it starts working. Yeah,
the game is actually finally over now. Alright, exactly 100 life. Nice.
Oh, I wants to stack like 3 triggers on top of each other.
So are we to assume that Para's styling here because this is the last game in this match?
Yeah, I would assume they don't have another game to go. But Academy's one of those decks too that like you don't need to play a long game with Academy. Blue-white is always going to take a long time. All right, that's the last game in the match. Yeah, he's styling.
Yeah.
Well, it's not unreasonable to have like a backup activation in case something happens.
How much you guys
Para, was that 2-0 or 2-1?
Yeah, 2-0.
2-0.
Also, we were just kind of chatting, and I was kind of styling just because I have like
We're having a good laugh with that.
At least one person had fun, I guess.
You had me like pretty close to dead too. Like
yeah, I know.
My mono was so awkward.
Yeah, like I hope with the Wasteland, I hope to get you like that you couldn't play the future side.
Yeah, the Wasteland I think was a pretty solid play there. Like there's a world where you try to wait for Solarian Academy, but if I get one Academy activation, I'm probably
it's like that's already like 7 mana or some bullshit at that point.
Oh, Pav, not playing.
I guess this why not? Well, why not?
Maybe if you got good. No, the buy is a free win.
Stroh's spin solidly grasped it.
But yeah, I feel like you potentially like click me once for info and then click yourself to draw some counters. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, so we are going to watch the finals for the. Yeah, we're going.
Yep.
So who have we got in finals, man?
We got Para versus Arakasi. So we get to watch Arakasi for the third round in a row.
Oh, okay, this will be a cool game.
This is here in the Arakasi Memorial Tournament hall today, and
well, hopefully not Memorial, but
no, not Memorial.
I hope to
after I'm done with them.
Look.
Not that bad of a matchup.
If you die against Academy, you die in real life.
All right.
Academy's one of those decks that like just can always have the high roll hand, right? I mean, like it doesn't matter if your deck has like Collector Roof on turn 1, like you can still lose to it. You know?
Roof is hard to beat, but yeah.
On turn 1, yes. I mean, I don't know how you're getting it on turn 1. You're like Simian Spirit guy to get out
With your Mox, duh.
Yeah, with your Mox that you kill. Like, I love 1-for-2s on turn 1. Just get them. Oh. Yeah, I mean, you could.
Okay, so is the cam's good?
Yeah, everything is good. You should be good
All
to
right.
go.
Okay, I'll go join the other channel then.
Yep. Or like Hilo used to say, "Go away, you nerds."
So which deck do you favor in this matchup?
I think in the this is a kind of a tempo versus combo matchup, which usually I like the tempo half of the.
Yeah, I look at
GM.
Arakasi's deck as kind of being a mix between mid-range and tempo.
Yeah. Which I've seen a lot of tempo decks do, just because the mid-range decks that people keep printing are just so stupid that you kind of feel good about hybridizing stuff. What am I doing? These, right.
Probably putting the hand cams up. So Para's got the play here. Both players kept 7-card hands, which is good. Means we should hopefully see some good magic. We got an expedition map on 1, which means access to the academy will occur by turn 3 at a minimum, maybe faster. Depending on how many Moxen he has, or if he has like the Soul Ring on turn 2, he could definitely play an academy on 2 as well. Yeah. Curious to see what the hands look like. I mean, if we have like, okay, well, fast mana for both players. Unfortunately, Arakasi's involves pitching a few cards. I think you got the hand cam flip-flop.
Yeah,
right
I
now.
know.
I'm sure you're
working on it.
Just letting the folks know that are watching at home. So we have a Delver on turn 1 with a Brainstorm to flip said Delver. It's kind of a slow clock, though. I'd really like to have like a counterspell after that. Okay, this looks kind of like a dangerous hand. So now we can play Academy on turn 2. Oh, is he passing his turn? Don't pass it, Para. You didn't play a land this. Oh, he did play a land. I'm sorry. He did play the artifact land. So yeah, we're gonna have an Academy on turn 2. The question is, can his opponent Arakasi find a counterspell this turn?
He has a misdirection in hand. That's kind of like a counterspell.
What's that now?
He has a misdirection in hand. That's kind of like a counterspell.
Yeah, kind of. Not in this deck. Not in this matchup, though. It's a counterspell for other counterspells. So we're going to fetch the map here.
It has counterspell-like properties.
Yeah, it does. The Tech Edge is really awkward here. It's just, just have an awkward card in this position.
Yeah, because your opponent kind of never has to have 4 lands into...
Yeah, it's on board, too. It's like, oh, okay. Gotcha. I think I probably just jam the res here after I play this Golem's Eye out. We're gonna brainstorm, looking probably for like a conditional counter spell to try to keep the mana down. None of that does it. Although Spell Snare is relevant against the Sylvan Scrying. The thing with the Academy deck is, like, I think more often than not, unless you're playing like Pact of Negation, like, you're just probably gonna slam it anyways. Like, you're just gonna slam your stuff. I mean, he's got 2 win cons in hand. I think the Aether Flux Reservoir is probably more steady, and it's also very disruptive because his opponent is trying to actively kill him with attacking him. All right, so we're untapping this, making a bunch more mana, playing out a Tezzeret, the Seeker, and finding what? Could just find Candelabra's already in play. Never mind. Could find Rings of Bright Hearth, another 4-drop. Okay. Oh, okay. Do we just cast the Sylvan Scrying here? Oh, Defense Grid off the top ropes. So this is going to get countered? No, he's not going to... I think you counter this. Just to keep your draws live. Because Mystic Forge is not actually a win con. It's a lot of cards. It's going to be hard to keep up with unless you kill your opponent quickly, but...
Not with
All right,
that,
Wasteland's big. Wasteland's a big one. That's going to take him off of the Academy. That's a pretty good top deck. I don't think this deck tends to run Petrified Field, so we're probably going to just see a Gurmag Angler get shot out here. Yeah, that Wasteland top deck was really big. That was a big game.
Yeah, Wasteland. Wasteland's a good card to head against a deck that has the one land to rule them all, right?
Yeah. There's definitely a hell of a top deck.
Is Tolarian Academy... How high is Tolarian Academy in the list of best lands ever printed?
I assume in the top 10. I don't know exactly where it would be. I mean,
is it
it's obviously
third?
Subjective. It's obviously subjective to some extent. I mean,
yeah, it's like context is also important, right? But like the lands that come to mind are
I think I would get
Library of Alexandria, Bazaar of Baghdad, Mishra's Workshop, and Academy. Like these are the ones that have kind of like.
I don't think library gets in there anymore, man. I think library's time is come and gone. I think in old school it's great. I just think it's way too slow. I don't even think he's playing vintage decks anymore. It's too slow. You know?
People still play it occasionally, but it's on an auto include. I don't think that
much. Yeah, it's kind of I think beyond its time. I mean, it may be top 10. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, but then if library, I don't think that Bazaar or Workshop are better than Academy. Is Academy just the best land of all time?
No. Strip Mine's also very powerful. I think the original duels, are up there. I mean, because the thing is, you have to when you assess Tolarian Academy,
I don't think the original duel is good at the fetch lands. I think fetch lands are generally agreed to be better than the original duels.
Yeah,
is Scolding Turn the best land of all time? Is that where we're at?
Well, I think that flexibility and range has to come into assessment of a card. I mean, if you're talking about just power level, like that's different. Like Tolarian Academy is very powerful, but like the problem when you start talking about like the power level of Academy is it also has requirements too, right? I mean, like you need to build your deck in a very specific way.
Sure.
It doesn't offer a ton of flexibility in what you do. It needs to generally be big ass dumb things that kill people and a lot of small little things that make more mana. So you box yourself into playing more of the same if you decide to run it. Now that all said, yeah, it's just grossly powerful. I mean, I'm not saying the card's bad. It's just I don't know. I think that there may be more equity and power in original duels and fetch lands, just because of what they allow, what they make possible.
Sure. So you heard it here first. Scolding Turn is the best land of all time. Who figured it out? It's definitely a higher pick in Cube. I don't know if that's a metric that we want to go by, but like, Scolding Turn is the land I pick highest in Cube. Okay. I usually pick Library over there, but
Do you? I probably would pick a Library too if it was a pick one, pack one.
Yeah.
I don't tend to pick Tolarian Academy or Mishra's Workshop.
No, for sure. Because they're build-arounds, right? Like, you need to stay open in Cube. Like, that's kind of like...
Yeah. Well, that's kind of comes back to, like, assessing their
yeah, for sure.
Best.
So I guess if that's the metric that we're going for, I guess that,
Whereas if someone were to tell me, like, Tolarian Academy is one of the most powerful lands ever, I'd be like, yeah, I don't disagree with that. And then if they say the best, I'm like, well, that's subjective. Like, there's a lot of ways.
It depends on what your metric for best is. Fair, yes.
Yeah. All right, more signets. Just trying to gain some life, the not die mode.
Yeah, I mean, Arakasi is definitely doing his best to make the not die mode not a thing. He is putting a heck of a lot of pressure. He currently has 11 power on the board, 6 of which fly.
I think we could see like one big time spiral here, and there'd be some troubles. We'll definitely see a block here on the ground. I don't think you leave the tribute mage around. You're not trying to block your opponent that traditional way.
Okay.
We're gonna play a fairy seer main one, and then okay, we're just blowing up lands.
Blowing up a land.
Makes sense. Yep.
Git probe finds a Thief of Sanity, which I would describe as a card.
Yeah, I mean, if it hits someone, it tends to like. It's one of those cards that snowballs, right? It's
Yeah,
a
no.
really high risk, high reward card.
If it hits you, you just die. I had to. I cubed yesterday. I had to do my cube deck actually.
Yeah,
I has 3 of my opponent's card, and then they died.
Yeah, it's a very high risk, high reward card. I mean, there's a lot of 2 damage spells, burn spells.
Yeah. Arakasi has it. Para did not quite manage to stabilize in time, and Arakasi's 85 powers on board got the game.
Yep, that's Mystic Forge not quite doing what you wanted to do there.
Yeah, not quite enough.
Pretty stellar spot. So I think that game, and I'm not trying to take anything away from Arakasi, I think that game really did come down in a large part to the top deck Wasteland. That was it was like, Pog, dude, got Wasteland, you know? That was big. That was a big draw. And I think it, for the most part, outside of like not hitting what you need to hit off of the Forge, kind of dictated the course of that game. Now, that said, I think going back and looking at it, there was a separate line of play where you end up landing the Aetherflux Reservoir before landing the Tezzeret, and you can gain some significantly more life and get a look at a few more cards there. So that was an alternate line that Para could have taken. I'd be curious to ask him after the event, like, what is the equation for playing Tezzeret out or playing out the Aetherflux Reservoir first there. Evidently, he thought that the Tezzeret was, I think, more expendable because there was open blue mana at the time. All right, so what do we got for both players? We got another turn 1 Delver and a Thoughtseize in hand. Actually, this hand is great for Arakasi, but I think it's going to put the artifact deck in a pretty challenging spot. Really probably just take Drawn from Dream. I think you play Delver turn 1, though. I think I do most of the time just to get the threat down.
Thoughts is not a bad one.
Yeah, I don't think you Thoughtseize first. I think you wait on it. I think you get the pressure first. I think pressure.
Yeah, no, I think I kind of agree with that, but also this hand is kind of garbage. I guess you take... he took a Signet. Okay.
Yeah, but we don't know.
Not that I would have taken a Signet. Academy is in hand, which is kind of scary.
Yeah, he also pondered, right? So we don't know the last card he's playing with. And this Academy is going to make a ton of mana because he's got 2 artifact lands and then a random, bullshit Everflowing Chalice you can just cast for nothing. And then there's a tutor. So, I don't think, you can actually say the hand's garbage. I think this Academy hand is actually not bad at all.
No, it makes a lot of mana. It doesn't do anything. That's the problem. But I guess I guess that's the reason that you take the Drawn from... Like, I would have taken Drawn from Dreams for the hand, right? And the reason is that, like, you just, like, you cannot prevent them from making a stupid amount of mana. Just take the payoff.
I 100% agree with you. I think Drawn from Dreams is the card that I am most interested in taking out of their hand.
Yeah, I wouldn't take a Signet because, like, the difference between having, like, 8 or 10 mana isn't that big.
So, Arakasi's kind of getting beat up here. He left up the Miscalc and is just not going to get to do it. He may get to Miscalc the second or third thing that Parrot does here.
But Drawn from Dreams was the one that he wanted to, and he doesn't get to.
I'm sure he did. But this is very punishing. Like, I think you want to get the Delver down and then look to disrupt after you have the pressure. That's kind of what led to him winning at this first game. Is that you had that turn 1 Delver, had some interaction thereafter.
Oh, Pence already got trolled in his match.
Did he?
Reiyu just mana creeped him to death, basically. Reiyu's on a medium. Reiyu's on a medium deck, so the mana creep throws are...
They're pretty good.
Yeah. Mana creep is a fair and balanced magic card.
Mm-hmm. Now we're going to see this Miscalc get cycled because you just can't hold on to it. No, we're not. Interesting. He may just keep it in hand and then try to play out what Delver next turn, leave up Miscalc. I guess it's the line we're going to see. And play out a Tech Edge, play out Delver. I guess you get to leave up the Tech Edge this way, but like, I don't know. At a minimum, Tech Edge does disallow Para from playing further lands, especially this Min Ammo. It kind of takes him off of that, which is annoying for sure. Try to slam this thing. All right, this is going to get Miscalc, so I guess he's running into it. Alrighty. Actually, this is still not bad. You can just say yes, and then play out the Minamo, untap the Tolarian Academy. Can you do anything relevant with Tolarian Academy after that? You can turn about your own lands. The Tolarian Academy only makes 3, though. So the Tech Edge can't eat the Tolarian Academy. Huh. I suppose here he can get Tech Edged and then crop rotate the Academy into something else.
Okay.
So, Drana.
Uh,
I think casting that Drana would be very aggressive. I think you need to take care of that Academy. Okay, so he's going to blow it up, and then I assume in response, fetch Tropical Island, and then crop rotate the Academy. No, he just lets it die? Interesting. I would have thought you crop rotated it in response. I guess it gets disrupted, but I mean, getting it disrupted is fine, I think. So now he's going to crop rotate. This is going to feel real bad.
I thought I was looking for a disrupt in Arakasi's hand. He has a dispel.
I'm sorry, dispel. Yeah,
I
sorry.
No, I just got confused. Like, wait, what? What is this? He's playing disrupt. That's spicy as hell. But
yeah, dispel is pretty spicy too. I mean, it's a good card, but
I've had dispel in control decks before. It's like, you know, sometimes it's 1-mana interaction. It's not the best, but
it's good in control mirrors. I'll give it that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have figured a crop rotation was getting cast there to find, gosh, what's the card called? Not Inspiring Vantage, the one that finds artifacts.
Inventor's Fair.
That's the one. All right, well, this is going to get dispelled here.
Which spell?
I feel pretty bad. Yeah, the dispel.
Oh.
So now Para's back to the drawing board here. And I don't think this had to get dispel. I think the crop rotation would have eaten a dispel on the previous turn. So
now the Drana drops by, sees high.
yeah, but at this point, your opponent is more than likely shields down. So I mean, you can, you know, go for whatever you draw next turn.
Yeah, he doesn't have a whole lot in hand though. He has a series of traders, a crop rotation, and a turnabout, and him losing access to the academy means that like he has a lot of mana, but he doesn't have crazy amounts of mana. Where like you can use the City of Traitors, like you can use the candle to make 1 more mana with City of Traitors. You can crop rotation for your what's his name, for your lands tap for 3 mana, but
you can crop rotation for
Inventor's Fair, yeah, but like you don't have a ton of mana to crop rotation for Inventor's Fair, crack the Inventor's Fair, and play the thing like that even takes a lot of mana.
Well, you're gonna do that EOT, or in response to this wasteland blowing up some lands here. Curious to see. All right, you crop rotation this piece into a fair, I assume. And he's gonna tap.
I mean, you kind of want to crop rotate the City of Traders because it's gonna die anyway if you don't, right?
Well, no, because unless you play a land, but the crop rotation will not kill it in the trigger that puts the land into play. You have to
it's only if you play a land. I thought it was
correct. Yes. Promise you, that's how it works. It is a play land. It's not if it comes into play. It's or if it's put into play. It's if
whenever you play another land. Yeah. So it won't kill. Okay. Yeah. Then you want to keep the City of Traders because it makes your candle tap for 1 mana.
Yeah. So, did someone concede the game? I've got like I'm looking at. Oh, he's looking at his deck.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this is a pretty easy. Oh, he's gonna turnabout. What are we doing at instant speed here? We have a flash artifact? I don't know about.
No, he only has crop rotation in hand.
Alright, so he's untapping.
He did crop rotate the City of Traders.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I assume you have to, and then he's using the
finds Inventor's Fair.
Yeah, and then finds what with it? Like a memory jar?
I'm not sure how much I like doing that at the end of turn, actually, because your opponent was tapped out.
No. He's not doing it at the end of turn. He's doing it in response to Wasteland. So.
Yeah, but you're still doing it in Arakasi's turn after Arakasi has him tapped.
Yeah, but if you do it EOT, you don't have enough mana to crack it, correct?
I guess.
You don't. You're down a mana resource in the following turn.
So
I
well,
think you have to do
Para's
the
under.
response.
Para's
But
at
the good
3
news is
life.
the thing is, Para's cannot afford to play around anything, so he's not going to play around anything. And he doesn't know it, but he does have free reign to do whatever he's going to do on this next turn.
Yeah. And has he kindly informed him of that by tapping out?
Yeah, I think I would just leave the Skirmag in hand and, see if maybe
Draws
they misplay.
not
But
great stuff.
yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter. Anything kills now, right?
Yeah.
I don't think you play that land, right? Because you want to, if you can get
Yeah, in
access to
case
play
you
land in the
draw,
graveyard.
like you find the Crucible for your Academy or something.
Yeah.
And
Alright, so-
land on top is bad, and Arakasi is the winner. Congratulations to Arakasi that won the fight.
Alrighty.
Let's see if Cheetah and Wyjete are still playing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I punted that into the sun a couple times. It's fine.
Yeah, it happens, man.
And
Oh,
like,
sweet. Somebody else is here. Yeah, you guys take care of commentary. I get to
I'm
be
not,
silent. Now.
I'm not beating the wasteland and/or tech edge
So
Yeah.
very frequently. It's just really like if you deal with the Talarian Academy, there's really
And
in that kind
well,
of situation.
and it was in game one, and not to take anything away from Arakasi, he played it well, man. But that he top decked a wasteland kind of almost exactly when he needed to not lose in the following turn. And that's the breaks, right? Like your deck's called Academy for a reason. If it doesn't have it, it loses,
Well, yeah, it's a lot harder to win, and like it was like I was telling Arakasi when we were playing. It's the combination of the really fast clock and high pressure with the that mana denial plan. Like I'd rather be oofed than stripped in a lot of cases because in those situations, strip just adds. Academy's doing so much more for your mana and can get you to the things that deal with oof, and then you just win.
Yep.
Whereas strip mine just cuts off like 8, 12, 16 mana or something.
Yeah, I mean it's still tough, right? Like I honestly think in that last game, like where you were up against the wall with your Academy killed, there may have been an argument to trying to go for Memory Jar. I don't know what all points you run in it, but I mean, there's a chance you high roll into a Twister of some variety and gain access to the Academy again.
Mm-hmm, definitely, that's what I want. That's the kind of thing I want to be doing. But there's very few ways to get any of these shuffle tutors. Like I'm not on Mystical Tutor, so that makes it a lot harder to hit.
That's why I'm saying I think like maybe there was an argument as opposed to Mystic Forge. I think you had the mana.
Memory Jar doesn't shuffle.
What's that?
Memory Jar doesn't shuffle.
Correct.
So it doesn't get you access to the Academy.
No.
You need to draw into
what I'm saying is you would need to draw 7 into the
into another draw 7. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Sorry, it wasn't clear. You
Yeah.
draw 7 to draw 7 and then discard that hand. It's like a really convoluted way to get back to Academy. All right, so we've got blue-white versus Abzan Walkers. This is going to be like a grind fest. I think it's going to generally go to blue-white because the Abzan Walkers list
they've
is.
got a Teferi on 9. That's
Oh, yeah, I didn't even notice that. Yeah, that's buzz. It's going to go to you when you have that for sure, but but I think generally speaking, the lack of efficient threats that this build of Abzan has is going to struggle versus the blue-white deck because the blue-white deck's going to have mana-efficient answers to 6 and 7 drop walkers. So even if your threat density is through the roof on the Abzan Walkers list, unless you turbo out a walker that puts them into react mode, it's going to be kind of tough because I mean the blue-white Miracles deck's playing probably upwards of 23 to 25 counter spells that are going to be more mana efficient than the threats that you're playing. So it's gonna be a tough one, I think.
Yeah, I don't think there's any winning from this position from the.
No. I'm talking generally, man, because I'm beyond this game. Yeah. This game's over. And I'm not trying to be mean to why not, but the game's just over.
We got a Teferi ulting next turn. You have.
Now, if this sticks, maybe they can win, but this can't stick.
In what world does it stick?
I don't know. The one in which he's drawn all lands. I mean,
Spicy Napalm has a handful of cards. Or not Spicy, sorry. SpottedCheetah.
Cheetah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's anyways, and an active Azcanta, right?
Yeah, you're done. But I mean, there is a world. It's just not
even
likely.
Even if Vraska resolves, it doesn't deal with Teferi.
Yeah, no, it just puts a 2/2 on the board and says, if they can't counter, we're exiling stuff now. So
yeah,
feels good.
We're ending the game. Oh,
Oh, feels good.
Yeah, that's brutal. Holy moly.
Okay, all right. Well,
That's the match too.
Red Mage, is that the only match going? Because that was a savage fucking beating, dude.
Yeah, no, I think that's it. I think we're done.
Oh, sorry, why not?
So we got...
Hello.
Hey man, is that why not?
No, I mean, why not also, you know?
Was that 2-0 you said?
No. This is the guy who brainstormed with a Teferi emblem out.
Ah.
What was the was that 2-1 or 2-0 for you, Cheetah?
That was 2-1.
Okay.
All right, and just with that, we have our final standings. Let me post them quickly in chat, and I'll do
another second place finish.
A good post with the whole shebang a little later. Let me move to the... Okay.
So, we had a pretty controlling metagame today, Red Mage.
Yeah, a lot of control decks, yeah.
When's Gosmic coming back with that red deck wins, man?
I don't know.
Honestly, if I saw a red deck wins deck, my win streak and everything would be over for me.
Yeah, well,
I'd really like to see tougher, yeah.
Alternately, I'd like to see a shift towards more, control and less land-based control decks. Leave my economy in play, please.
Well,
that's all I ask.
I got pretty lucky. Like I said, in my deck, I have 3 land destruction.
I mean, yeah, but you play them to get lucky, and you play the cantrips to filter your draws, right? Like that's exactly how you want it to go down.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think land decks are going the way of the bin anytime soon. I think that's
Point wasteland. Increase
points.
No, don't point wasteland.
I think strip mine
Absolutely
could see another point. I think.
I don't think waste needs to be pointed. Waste is fine, but strip is definitely.
I think
definitely
waste
an
is
issue.
Not fine, but necessary.
Yeah, and you can play around waste, right?
Yeah.
If you play basics, you can fetch for basics. You can play basics, like. Yeah. But strip is brutal, even if you lead with island, right? In academy.
But yeah, so this was my second tournament, and I got no losses again.
Nice.
Yeah.
Tough. I think it's a pretty it's a good field for tempo right now. Just looking at it.
Yeah.
You played multiple different kind of control decks, and then
you can get under the control decks, and you can if there's the potential to beat the mid-range decks.
Well, and the Ramp Academy deck too is more on the combo spectrum.
Yeah, definitely.
Like you understand what it's doing. I think in general you can tend to beat it with tempo.
Yeah, exactly. There's just a lot of early pressure, which not a lot of the other decks are putting out against. Like Academy is pretty good here against this field. It's just like I've won most games where I'm not running into like a tempo deck that can really.
Now, Arakasi, did you fight the medium green deck today?
No, I did not. You saw me on coverage the whole time.
Okay. Yeah, that's. I don't think I saw you on coverage the whole time, did I? Maybe I did.
Yeah. He was. All of his rounds were on coverage, by a kind of a freak accident, because we covered him round 1, and then round 2 we had 2 options, but one of them was Cheetah. Cheetah, yeah. That asked us not to show their hands, so I showed the other one because we had to show both hands, and then it was the final. So.
It wasn't really about not showing my hand. It was me being too lazy to set up Google Hangouts. Maybe next week. We don't know.
Too lazy.
Yes.
Too lazy.
That is me.
But yeah, if I ever saw an aggro deck, I would fold. Like that's honestly my weakest matchup, and it's just not something people play often on Magic Online.
I'm on medium.
We have had like our last season, winner was a player that played mono red the whole time.
That doesn't surprise me, honestly.
Yeah, no.
Given the Magic Online meta and how powerful that deck is, but I just haven't seen it.
Yeah.
And
that's I don't know why Gosmith has not been maybe the new time slot doesn't work as well for him. But
that's probably what it is, man. That'd be my guess.
He did mark it. I checked. He did mark it as a time that he could make. So maybe he just has had some live stuff going on, or
No, I was gonna say it's funny because like the season end last time, I think you had 2 aggro decks in that field, right? You had Sui and you had
because you showed up with Sui.
The deck did well though. I mean,
you almost ran the whole gauntlet.
Well,
I didn't like that format.
I technically did beat the finalist, right? I beat the first place finalist.
Yeah, but
but I had to run.
We really I really like that format. I think that we're gonna run that format back for this end of season. I think I liked how that worked out. Because it felt like people had a chance to like run the gauntlet, but it made it favored the people on top well enough.
Yeah,
and it didn't take like years. It took like 2 hours, 4 hours, or whatever.
But yeah, no, that was pretty fun. So definitely enjoyed it, man. I think I'm gonna go ahead and cut out now.
Yeah, I think we've had a nice old like 2-hour stream, so I think I'm gonna cut it out. And thanks to everybody for showing up and play. Always.
Thanks for jumping in on commentary again, Low Man.
Yeah, no issues, man. It's not a big deal. Hopefully, I did the matches justice and didn't like screw up card interactions.
Yeah, no, having Low Man around is always great for this sort of thing because he's always down to clown. Thanks to my partner in crime, Low Man, for showing up to the commentary. Thanks to everyone that showed up to play. Congratulations to Arakasi for his 7th consecutive win. Hopefully, next time somebody else shows up and puts an end to his reign of terror. And
hey, sleep up a red deck, guys. It costs like $2.
5 ticks investment.
Medium white, so.
And,
medium white, slam medium white.
Yeah. I will talk to you hopefully next week. Bye. Have fun. And before we get out, just a quick reminder: ! Discord gets you to the Canadian Highlander Discord, which is where these things are organized and where we want where you can sign up. There will be an announcement going on probably later on today with the results for today and the sign up information for next week, and I'll post a reminder sometime midweek too. If people want to join the like Vermont and want to join it, there's gonna be a link in the description if you're watching this on YouTube. And with that, I will close this stream. Thanks everybody for showing up and hanging out with us. I will talk to you all next time. Bye.